want to talk a little bit about a series I've been working on. I think it's kind of important. You know, this is just my vlog, so it's a bunch of ideas and everything, and I'm just going to jump around because I jump around on things quite a lot. So I've been working on this Longwood series, this Into the Woods. It's all fairies and magical creatures and, you know, Mad Hatters and dwarfs and everything possible. And I really loving the motion I'm getting out of this. Check this out. It's still wet. I love the dynamics, like the thick colors, the dynamics. I really like how it's all been turning out. Check out this one. This one's quite fun, right? I love it. I love the expression on his face. The expression on his face is pretty cool, right? I love the expression on his face. It's so calm and zen-like. One of my favorites in the series. This one's quite cool. It came out pretty awesome. Right? Look at that dynamic. Look at just how thick it is. Look how thick it is. It's really thick and wet. This one, a lot bigger. Bam. The Wings of Justice. Like a little revealing. Today I'm just doing a little painting revealing in my vlog. Show you what I've been working on lately. I like the techniques. I like these lines, these like movement lines. These swirls kind of gives it a fresh dynamic, right? They're all still pretty wet, so I have to be careful when I'm picking them up and putting them down. This is the Mad Hatter. I actually showed this one a few times lately. I like the pinks. The mystery of it. Like how he's drinking the tea. It's not bad, right? There's two more in the series that I don't even have here, otherwise I'd show you them as well. Maybe I'll blend them in here. One's a fairy with a spear, which is pretty cool and dynamic. I like it, it's quite large. And the other one's one with one of these, what do they call it? These, like almost looks like one of those Day of the Dead type masks, sugar mask, I believe they're called. So it almost looks like a sugar mask, and you know it's got cool things. And I'll blend it in here. Let's check out this one. This one's one of my favorite, though it's not as dynamic as the other ones. I just like the colors in the hair and stuff, right? She's like a tree fairy with a battle axe. You gotta have a battle axe. Look how thick those colors are and the roses and everything, and how greens are coming out of the face, and also it's pretty fun with the forest. I dig the eyes. It's pretty fun. And this one's not in the series, but it's an older painting that I kind of redid because I really like it. I really like the form, and I wanted to bring a little bit more movement into this painting. It's a Zulu warrior. It's like Shaka Zulu. Though, like I said, it's not really part of the series, but I don't know, it kind of fits in there somewhere. You can tell it's a very similar in style. You know, I really dig the movement in it now. It was very flat, very impersonal. I'm really digging now. It's just like so chaos and awesomeness. And this one will be the next painting that I'll do today. Yeah, you can probably take a look at that one. It's a fairy. She's holding her hands there. You can see the wings coming out. I kind of sketched this one out the other day, and yeah, this is the interesting stuff. This is like, what do you do? Why do you do it? Why do you like to paint? What you paint? I know a lot of people nowadays do celebrities and things. I do them too sometimes. It's kind of fun. I like this whole building of the world, and I'm going to actually write some poems for these. I'm thinking, I've been talking about the long woods and all this stuff, but I think of it the in-betweens. It's like in between our world and maybe the land of the fairies or something, or maybe our world in a different realm. And these are the in-betweens. These are like where everything goes. It's like the Wild West of the whole fantasy world, the in-betweens. Let me just read it to you. This one's Calm Justice, Untold Lies, Nights Cut, Truth Told, Days Shatter, and Rebirth. And it's called Azareth. Right? I love it. And I'll read you one more poem because this is like my vlog and it's what I like to do. Bodied. Wings choice, stealing dance. Life chooses chaos. Groovy, right? And there'll be more, but I'm not going to read them all right now. I'll put them out later. Kind of like dig these boards in the background here. They're funky. My friend helped me build them. I love these hanging boards, these drying racks I have and thing where you can actually hang like plastic hooks and dry the paintings. You can use them to paint sometimes too. It's quite groovy. A friend of mine helped me build them. I actually was just thinking I'm just gonna put a board across and maybe put some nails, but he was like, no, let's put like your 3 sections here, and so you could put paintings in different heights and everything. I have to be honest with you, it's pretty awesome. I have one over on this side too of the room. So my studio has like drying areas on both ends and gives me places to work and do great things. How do you create a series? I get asked this a lot. How do I create a series of paintings? It's really weird, right? People just, artists mostly tend to just paint whatever they like, right? And you paint a lot of things you like, and eventually you have like a lot of similar works in a similar direction, and it becomes a series of paintings. However, you might have a show and you might want to have a theme and you want to explore this thing, this idea, this process you have. That's where you might want to create a series in beginning, what you're like an arc. You have an arc, and what's this overreaching arc that encompasses all these works. It's kind of hard, because sometimes you're like, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Me personally, I often work on themes. I do a lot of dragons, and I think about like, what do they mean? What do they think? And I've talked about these dragons a million times, but I enjoy them. So it's a recurring theme. This whole way I paint, this whole thick paint is a style, right? But it kind of works within the theme, and these new fantasy paintings I've been doing, I get in tangents. I think a tangent's pretty fun, so I'm like the type of person that gets that's on the train, as the train's going this way, and I'm gonna see it through the end. And right now I'm in this fantasy fairy land, and I think it's something I'm gonna do for a while right now, because I think I can expand on this world and make it mysterious and pick certain things in it, and it could just grow and grow and grow and grow and grow, and just let almost like a book, right? That's kind of exciting, I think. I like fantasy, so I read a lot of fantasy books too. Yeah, recurring themes, fantasy styles. Sometimes I just, I painted like historical figures if I'm inspired from a book. What I do notice is I don't often get asked, well, it's not true, 100% true, but I don't often get asked from like people that don't paint a lot. I get asked more from people that are like admirers, collectors, how do you think of these things to work on? How do you think of these things to paint? What's the deep meaning behind this? Sometimes I have a deep meaning, sometimes I don't. But for right now, I have really like meanings in here, and there's like poetry being involved, and I'll read some, and there's like movement. I like the whole chaos movement in this whole new realm. It's pretty exciting. And this is why I'm painting fantasy right now. It's kind of like the fantasy book genres. You know, I like to read a lot of fantasy books. Going out and paint about this whole fantasy thing. I can take this and that and make my own creations. And how do you create like fantasy works? You know, there are people out there that can sketch it right out of their head, and that's how they work, and that's how they're built. I'm not one of these. I need reference. So what I tend to do is that I go to like museums, or like this was like actually a sculpture from a castle I went and saw. This was doesn't look anything like the sculpture, and it didn't have wings or anything. So I add these things to it. I embellish what I see, and sometimes I'm a big Photoshop guy. I've used Photoshop for years. So, on some of these other paintings, this Mad Hatter in the background here, I found a picture of a guy with a hat with a white painted face, and from there I kind of photoshopped the lily on there and actually photoshopped the trees and the knight's helmet. There's a knight's helmet in the background where it's kind of, you can see someone died in the background. That one's kind of disasterly. So Photoshop helps a lot. Even the one with the battle axe over here, I have this one with this tree spirit / tree fairy. She's probably a composite of like 10 different photos. It's like a process, a lot of times I will, I always saving photos that I like, and I'm taking a lot of pictures, and then I like do my own collage. And from this collage, I do paintings. Cool, right? So if I'm not doing just something I'm copying, like a photo, or Muhammad Ali with his famous pictures. Like sometimes I paint things because I just think I need to paint it once. So sometimes I paint historical figures. I painted the Dalai Lama before, but like one time I painted Odin, and I was like, Odin, who says what Odin looks like? And well, so with Odin, I took the time and found some biker guy pictures, and I removed an eye from one, and just created this whole Odin thing. And been thought about for a while to go more into this Norse thing and interpret the whole Norse gods as I would interpret them. So maybe I'll do that one day, like continue the different steps. It'd be kind of exciting. But right now, it's fantasy time. Anything goes. It's a lot of fairies, a lot of tree spirits, a lot of winged women, girl power. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for stopping by. If you like this, share it, like it, spread it around, appreciate it. Remember, you matter.